Hello boys and girls, we are going to be doing dividing a whole number by a decimal. So these past two lessons we did decimals divided by whole numbers, but now we're going to look at dividing a whole number by a decimal. So our first example will be in blue very shortly, and if you have any questions after the video, make sure you reach out to me when you're doing your work because I'm so happy to help and do a Google Meet or anything. So our first problem is going to be example 1, and example 1 is going to be 3 divided by 2/10. That's 3 divided by 2/10. So when I'm doing this problem, I need to think of 3 as also, I could think of it as 30 tenths because there's 10 tenths in one whole, so I can make 3 wholes equal to 30 tenths. While I realize that, it's going to be important because it's going to help us get our answer in a much easier way. So if I did 30 tenths divided by 2 tenths, which is what I have in my problem, that's basically saying that I'm doing 30 divided by 2. I'm going to get the same answer because my tenths are interchangeable there. They work together. I got 15. Because what I would have is and you'll see me write this below, I would have 15 groups that would make I would have 15 groups that would have 2 tenths in each group, and 2 tenths times 15 would give us 30 tenths or 3 wholes, which is what we start with. So right now, I just wrote that out for you, but I'm going to do another example. It does take me a little while to get to it, so just bear with me. I might cut it out, but if I don't, it's just a little bit of a malfunction with the app that I was using. But again, 15 groups with 2 tenths in each group, similar to what we did with fractions a little bit too. It's kind of interesting. So let's look at this now. I made it so that we can still see the problem. I'm going to show you what those 15 groups look like. So I have 3 wholes and I have 2 tenths. 3 wholes divided by 2 tenths. Remember that problem again. I'm going to rewrite out what I have, just my information, so I can show you guys what we're looking at. And then I'm going to show you that the tenths are going to be represented as rods. You're going to see those. There's 2 tenths right there. Those 2 rods equal 2 tenths. 1 rod is 1 tenth. Now I'm going to make 2 tenths 15 times. So you're going to see me draw out 2 tenths 15 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups, 7 groups, 8 groups, 9 groups, 10 groups, 11 groups, 12 groups, Mr. Brumley has to count again, 13 groups, 14 groups, 15 groups. 15 groups of 2 tenths. I'm going to circle those with a different color so you can see what it looks like. One set of my groups, if you look closely, 5 groups, which is 10 tenths, would give me 1 whole. Then the next color I'm going to use is going to also show you 5 groups with 2 tenths. Again, another whole, or 10 tenths. And then what you're going to see is I'll do one final color, and that color is representing the last whole, or the last 10 tenths, which is 5 groups of 2 tenths. So remember, boys and girls, I have 15 groups total, which equals 3 wholes, 15 groups of 2 tenths, almost reversing the problem. I didn't like using the purple again. You're going to see that I changed my mind, and I'm actually doing a black color. I am adding up my whole plus my whole plus my whole, and I get 3 wholes. Again, just showing you how we got the answer, but again, the answer was 15 groups, 15 groups. Next, I'm going to show you 2 more examples. I'm not going to do the drawing parts, but feel free to do the drawings if you ever need to. They're very helpful, and they really, really can help you understand it visually and what we are actually dividing up. I do make one small mistake in this, but I actually fix it pretty soon afterwards, so everyone makes mistakes, but we can always learn from them. In this example here, we have examples 2 and example 3. Example 2 is going to be 15 divided by 3 tenths. 15 divided by 3 tenths. So I'm taking that 15, and what you'll see is my mistake. I wrote 15 tenths as well, but we know that 15 tenths is not going to be equal to 15, so it would actually be 150. I'm going to go fix that very shortly, but I wrote out that problem with tenths only. 150 divided by 3 tenths. 150 tenths, let me say that again, 150 tenths divided by 3 tenths. And what I get with that, if you think about 150 divided by 3, it's the same thing, but we're working with tenths. We're still going to have the same amount of groups. So 150 divided by 3, as I'm writing it out for you, is going to be, think about it while I'm writing this out, 50. So I'm going to have 50 groups of 3 tenths. That gets me 150 tenths, or 15 wholes. Watch this last example here. We're going to do 12 divided by 4 tenths. That it was 12 divided by 4 tenths. As I'm about to write it out, I want you to think about what could be the answer. 12 divided by 4 tenths. Well, how many tenths are we going to have if we have 12 wholes? We're going to have 120 tenths. And we're going to divide it by those 4 tenths. And thinking again about how I could have done 120 divided by 4, what's 120 tenths divided by 4 tenths? How many groups of 4 tenths am I going to have? Well, if I think about my strong division skills, 120 divided by 4 is going to give me 30. So I'm going to have 30 groups of 4 tenths, boys and girls. I hope this helped, and let me know if you have any questions.